He was bruised, skinny, and forgotten, standing in the corner of a dusty auction ring as bidders looked away. But one young man saw something no one else did. What followed wasn't just a rescue. It was a redemption that would silence every doubter. The air in the auction barn was thick, heat, dust, and the kind of silence that comes when even hope has given up. Most of the folding chairs were empty now. A few bidders lingered out of boredom, picking at the last bits of their lunch or checking their phones. And then the gate creaked open one more time. The last lot, a thin bay gelding, stepped out, guided by a handler who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The horse moved slow, cautious. His coat was dull, marked with old scars. One front leg dragged slightly, the limp subtle but telling. His ribs showed under his skin like forgotten piano keys. Lot 47, the auctioneer mumbled into the mic, voice flat. Last of the day. Let's start the bidding at 100. No one moved. The horse blinked against the harsh lights, ears twitching at the murmurs. Someone in the back coughed. A woman near the rail leaned over to her friend. Looks like he's already halfway to the glue factory. The auctioneer scratched his chin, adjusted his hat. Okay, 50. Still nothing. The handler shifted his weight. The horse lowered his head, as if he knew. Then a hand went up. Quiet, steady. Row 4, far end. A young man in worn jeans and a sun-faded ball cap. He looked barely 20, maybe less. The room turned toward him, surprised. A few chuckled. You sure, kid? Someone called. That one ain't got no engine left. The young man didn't flinch, just nodded. The gavel dropped with a dull thud. Sold. No applause, no second looks. The gelding was led off with a slow shuffle, and the crowd dispersed like smoke, already forgetting the horse no one wanted. But the young man didn't. He stood, collected the slip, and walked toward the holding pens without a word. The handler handed him the lead rope with a shrug. Good luck with this one, he muttered. He's a handful. The horse didn't rear or bolt. He just stood there, like a broken statue, his eyes dark and still. The young man ran a hand gently along the horse's neck, feeling the bones under the skin. I'm gonna call you Chance, he said softly, because that's what we're both getting right now. No big scene, no miracle moment, just a quiet promise between two souls who had been overlooked. And that was the day everything began to change. The walk across the gravel lot was slow. The gelding's hooves clicked unevenly against the ground, his limp more pronounced now that the adrenaline had worn off. Noah held the lead rope loose, giving the horse space. No pulling, no commands, just quiet. Chance moved like a horse who had been pulled too hard, too many times. He flinched at the slam of a nearby gate. His ears flicked nervously when a truck roared past. But he didn't bolt, he didn't fight. He just followed like he wasn't sure what else to do. Noah glanced down at him, then back toward the fading auction barn. A couple of ranchers stood near their trailers watching. One shook his head. That boy just bought himself a problem, he muttered. Another laughed. Ain't nothing left in that horse but bones and bad memories. Noah didn't answer, didn't even look their way. The trailer sat open and ready at the far end of the lot, a modest rig, a little rusty, but clean, safe. Chance paused when they reached the ramp, his body stiffening. He stared into the dark space like it might swallow him whole. Noah didn't push. Instead, he stepped inside first, letting the rope go slack. It's okay, he said, his voice steady. Not a trap, not this time. Chance hesitated, nostrils flaring. Then slowly, with trembling legs, he stepped forward, one hoof, then the other. The trailer creaked as he settled in. Noah turned and gently latched the bar behind him. The horse didn't move, he just stood there, sides rising and falling in shallow, uneven breaths. Noah reached through the slats and laid a hand on his shoulder. You're not done yet, he whispered, not even close. Chance didn't react, not yet, but his breathing slowed, just a little, as Noah climbed into the truck and pulled away. The auction yard faded in the rearview mirror, just dust and noise now. Ahead, the road stretched wide and quiet, framed by fences and fading sunlight, and in the back of that old trailer, for the first time in a long time, a horse who had been forgotten by everyone was on his way home. The ranch was nothing fancy. A weathered barn, a few acres of pasture, fencing that creaked when the wind picked up. But it was quiet. Honest. The kind of place built more on patience than money. Noah backed the trailer in slow, careful not to jolt the horse inside. The sun had dropped low by the time he opened the gate. Chance didn't bolt. He didn't move at all. It took 15 minutes to coax him out. Every step was uncertain, like the ground might vanish if he trusted it too quickly. His eyes scanned everything. The barn, the paddock, the open sky. But when Noah unclipped the rope and stepped back, Chance stayed. He stood in the dirt, head low, body tight, with some memory he couldn't shake. The kind of fear that doesn't come from a single bad day, but from too many. Noah didn't try to pet him, didn't shove hay at him or drag him into a stall. He just sat down on an overturned bucket near the fence, said nothing, stayed close. That first night, Chance didn't eat. The second, he picked at the hay. Barely. By the third morning, Noah found him standing a few feet closer to the barn, watching the sunrise like he didn't know what to make of it. No one else would have noticed the difference. But Noah did. He kept his routine simple. Morning feed, clean water, open gate, no pressure. He whistled sometimes, talked now and then, not for the horse, but maybe so the silence didn't win. A week passed, then another. Chance started eating more. He still flinched when Noah got too close, still pulled back when a shadow moved too fast. But one afternoon, Noah stepped into the paddock with a brush in his hand, held it out like an offering. Chance stared at it, then slowly, carefully, he took a step forward. The brush touched his neck. He didn't bolt. His skin twitched, but he stayed. Noah kept his strokes gentle. No rush, no words. Dust rose in soft clouds, revealing the lines of muscle beneath the bones, the history etched into scars. As the brush moved across his coat, something in Chance shifted. His breathing slowed. His ears flicked, not back, not pinned, just listening. For the first time, he didn't look like a horse waiting for the next bad thing. He looked like a horse remembering what peace felt like. Noah paused, hand resting on Chance's shoulder. "That's it, buddy," he said quietly. "We start here. No trophies, no breakthroughs. Just trust, earned, not asked for." And that day in the dirt and dusk, a horse no one believed in began to come back to life. The sun hung low, casting long shadows across the paddock as Noah brushed through Chance's mane. The rhythm steady, almost meditative. The gelding stood calm now, weight balanced, no longer flinching at every sound. They had found a rhythm together, quiet, slow, healing. Noah's fingers paused as they met something unexpected beneath the thick strands of black mane. A rough patch, raised, scarred. He parted the hair and squinted. It wasn't a cut or an injury. It was a brand, faded with time, almost erased, but still there. A half circle of letters, scorched into the skin long ago. He ran his hand gently across it, eyes narrowing, as pieces started shifting in his mind. Someone had tried to burn it out, not just hide it, but even fire couldn't erase everything. That night, Noah sat at his kitchen table, laptop open, fingers flying across keys. He searched breed registries, stable records, anything he could find. The shape of the brand, it matched one stable, a big one, Reverie Ridge. The name still carried weight in certain circles, even after what happened. Chance hadn't always been unwanted. He had once been promising. Photos surfaced, a young colt, powerful and alert, mid-jump at a showcase event. Same eyes, same markings. There was no doubt. His registered name had been changing the odds. A prospect for show jumping. Quick, smart, expensive. Then 2 years ago, nothing. Reverie Ridge was hit by scandal. Allegations of doping, animal mistreatment, quiet, lawsuits, whispered settlements. The owners vanished from the spotlight, shuttered the barns. Some horses were sold quietly, others disappeared from records altogether, and one, it seemed, was dumped at a backwoods auction, scarred and silent. Noah leaned back in his chair, jaw tight. They hadn't just sold Chance, they'd discarded him, tried to scrub him from existence like he was an inconvenience. He stood and walked outside. The air was cool, crickets chirped. Chance stood under the moonlight near the fence, ears flicked forward when Noah approached. Noah stepped closer, resting a hand on his neck. "They tried to erase you," he said quietly, "but they failed." Chance didn't move. He just breathed. Slow, steady. Noah exhaled. This wasn't just about second chances anymore. This was about truth. About giving a horse back the dignity someone else tried to steal. In the stillness of the night, one thing became clear. They hadn't rescued a broken animal. They'd recovered a legacy someone tried to bury, and that legacy was ready to rise again. The saddle sat on the fence for a full minute before Noah touched it. Chance stood nearby, ears flicking back and forth, nostrils wide. He wasn't panicked, but he wasn't at ease either. His muscles twitched with old memory, the kind that doesn't fade easy. Noah didn't rush. He let Chance sniff the blanket first, then the leather. He spoke low and steady, words that didn't mean much, but meant everything. It's just me, buddy. No one else. Just me. When the saddle finally rested on Chance's back, the gelding flinched, but didn't move away. That was progress. The first ride didn't happen that day, or the day after. But on the third morning, just as the sun crested over the far hills, Noah swung a leg over and settled into the seat. The saddle creaked beneath him. Chance trembled, one shiver that ran from his shoulders to his tail. But he didn't bolt. They just stood there, breathing the same slow rhythm. Noah didn't ask for much. A step, then another. He let the reins stay loose, his body relaxed, his voice constant. Good, that's good. We're just walking. It wasn't elegant. Chance's stride was uneven. His head bobbed too much, and every loud sound made his ears snap back. But he kept going. 10 feet, then 20. Around the paddock once, then twice. By the end of the ride, Noah slid down, legs stiff, eyes stinging from the morning wind. Chance turned his head, almost like he was checking if Noah was still there. He was. They did it again the next day, and the next. By the end of the week, they weren't just walking circles, they were riding trails. Open fields stretched before them, golden and wide, the wind curling through the grass. Chance moved better now, more sure, still not perfect, but freer. One afternoon, as they passed the edge of the property, a pickup truck slowed on the gravel road. The window rolled down. That the same horse from the auction, a neighbor called out, eyes wide. Noah nodded. The man gave a low whistle. Well, I'll be damned. Noah didn't say anything back, just gave a small wave and kept riding. Chance flicked an ear toward the truck, then refocused on the trail ahead. The world was watching now, whispers turning into wonder. But Noah wasn't thinking about that. He was thinking about the gelding beneath him, the one who'd once stood shaking in a dusty ring, unwanted and forgotten. Now here he was, ears forward, legs steady, wind in his mane. Not a comeback, a quiet kind of rebirth. The fairgrounds buzzed with low voices and the clatter of polished hooves. Kids clutched cotton candy, parents leaned against rails, and local trainers prepped their horses like they were entering a national spotlight. Fresh paint, crisp uniforms, nerves hidden behind practice smiles. Then Noah pulled in. His trailer was smaller, his boots dusty, and the gelding he let out was leaner than the rest, still carrying the signs of a hard past. Chance stepped onto the gravel lot with caution in every stride, head high, but eyes watchful. A few people turned, then came the whispers. That's the one from the auction, right? Didn't think he'd still be alive. I heard he was lame. Noah ignored it all. He patted Chance's neck, whispered something only the horse could hear, and walked him toward the warm-up pen like they belonged there, because they did. Chance moved slow at first, easing into the rhythm of the place. But once under saddle, something shifted. He began to stretch, loosen, wake up. In the stands, the crowd leaned in, some to laugh, some to judge. But by the time their number was called, the laughter had stopped. Noah guided Chance into the arena, the midday sun casting long shadows across the dirt. The announcer barely glanced at the entry slip. Next up, number 47, Noah Whitaker, riding, up changing the odds. Silence rippled through the stands. The name meant something to a few. Chance stood tall at the gate. Noah gave a gentle cue. They moved. It wasn't flashy, not at first. No dramatic leaps or flying lead changes. Just rhythm, precision, quiet grace. Then Chance turned toward the final line. 3 jumps in a row, spaced tight. For a second, Noah held his breath, and Chance flew. He cleared them clean, hooves landing soft as breath. The crowd gasped. Noah slowed him to a trot, then a walk, then a stop in the center of the ring. Chance stood still, ears forward, eyes bright. They didn't win first place. The ribbon went to a polished bay with a silver mane and a rider in designer boots. But it didn't matter, because when Chance walked out of that ring, People stood, clapped. Even the judges watched him go like they'd just seen something they didn't expect. Someone near the gate muttered, "That's not the same horse." And they were right, because today, for the first time in a long time, Chance wasn't a reject. He was a reminder that spirit doesn't come from breeding, and heart can't be bought. The arena had quieted, but the moment still hung in the air like dust after a thunderstorm. Chance stood beside Noah near the exit gate, reins loose, sweat drying across his coat in soft patches. He wasn't shaking, wasn't spooked, just standing tall, ears up, eyes clear, chest rising slow and steady. Noah ran a hand along his neck, the way he always did, not for show, just connection. A few riders walked past, offering nods now. One even paused. "That was something," she said, her tone softer than it had been earlier. "Didn't expect that from an auction pull." Noah gave a small smile. Neither did he. He just needed time to remember who he was. In the stands, a few people still lingered, talking in low, surprised voices. No one mentioned the missing blue ribbon. They didn't need to, because what Chance gave today wasn't points or style. It was proof. A judge approached, clipboard tucked under his arm. "What's his lineage?" he asked, curious now, not dismissive. Noah shrugged. "Don't know all of it, but his heart, that part's champion bred." The man chuckled and nodded. "Can't argue that." Then from the other side of the fence, a man stepped forward, older, worn. His coat still held the insignia of Reverie Ridge, barely faded. But there, he stared at Chance like he'd seen a ghost. "I knew him," he said quietly, "back when he was just a colt." His voice cracked a little. He was sharp, brave. They gave up on him when things got bad. Noah looked over, steady. "I didn't." The man nodded slowly, eyes glassy. He was written off. Noah glanced at Chance, then back. "Not by me." Chance lowered his head then, pressing it gently against Noah's shoulder. Not from fear, not from fatigue, but something quieter, something final, like an exhale that had waited years to be released. In that moment, no one asked about scores. No one cared about ribbons. People clapped, not the kind of applause reserved for winners, but the kind that spills out when something real walks past. A few even stood as Noah and Chance made their way to the trailer. One young girl reached out, her palm open. Chance paused, nose brushing her hand. She lit up. "Is he famous?" she asked. Noah grinned. "He is to me." They loaded up quietly. No speeches, no headlines, just a boy and a horse who had been forgotten, leaving a crowd that wouldn't forget them again. As the trailer door closed, Chance didn't look nervous this time. He looked home. If this story moved you, if you believe in second chances, quiet comebacks, and the power of being seen, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful, true-to-heart stories like this one. And if you've ever been the one no one believed in, drop it in the comments, because sometimes the ones they give up on become the ones who inspire us all. More stories are coming. Real, worse, worth remembering.